Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lorelines, episode 23. What madness is this? We just had a milestone today. We were present on LunarCon. Foul and Hawk here. I gotta say that first usually, and I always fail. But anyway, welcome to the party. Neela, Ayumi, and Koberon were at LunarCon today. It's pretty exciting. And we just want to kind of catch up with you guys and talk shop and talk lore. So welcome to the party. Everyone, we are live.
Sup, guys? It's your boy, Ayumi.
It's your boy.
Never do that again.
I will do it as many times as I want.
We're gonna ghoulish you. I swear we're gonna ghoulish you.
What does that entail?
trying to get Meow to laugh,
I mean,
Impossible.
probably.
which is the cornerstone of our show.
Leave me alone.
Never.
Or do we ever?
Hey, those are the guys from LunarCon. Oberon, where are you?
He's at his family thing.
That's fine.
Oh,
Thank
right.
you for attending.
Cobaran.
He's with us in spirit.
Yes, indeed. I hope you guys love our new overlay. I sure do. Holy crap. Bonnie and the team put in some real effort here to not only pick out an amazing overlay, but also customize it to be Zodiac and Heidelin colors. So, hooray!
Yeah, Silent First Class in the chat is responsible for it actually being Heidi Zodi, which is
Excellent.
fantastic.
Big shout out because I'm sure it was a lot of work and it looks absolutely fantastic.
I hope you
So
didn't
my-
lose sleep over this.
I sorry dropped my microphone. Sorry.
Don't know if Bonnie knows what sleep is, actually.
I was just about to say, does Bonnie even know what sleep is?
I mean,
She knows what-
sometimes,
you know
but
what monster
usually it has, a different definition. It's fine.
The definition being Monster Energy drink.
Yeah.
I'm calling out that she stays up every night till like 5 in the morning or 6, and today she had a 3-hour nap.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look, a new follower, Miss Dawn. Yay, alerts! Look at this. Oh my
Isn't
god.
that cool?
It's
It looks sharp
amazing.
as hell. This is new and exciting for us.
Yes.
You're gonna hear us say ooh and ah a lot.
Sorry for the distraction. I guess I should ask Neela and Ayumi to comment on LunarCon.
And while they do that, you can get your butt over to my FC house.
Let's do it. I'll log in. Give me a moment.
Do I have to?
You do. Or
Yes.
Neela.
No.
I'll go first and let you think. How's that?
Sure, why not?
We need
I
more
don't
people
even have 14
to,
open.
We need more people to be sitting next to Bond's character on her throne.
We were lucky enough to get picked as one of the panelist groups for LunarCon, and we talked a little about the lore and the importance in narrative in general and in the game in particular. It was a good time. You can check out, I believe the video on demand will be up for a while. Check it out if you didn't get to watch it. A lot of people came out and supported us, and I want to say thank you to all of them. A bunch of them are probably, at least some of them are here now, which is fantastic. It's really great to see. LunarCon's going on now. If you haven't checked it out and have a character on Crystal, you just hop over to Brynhilder.
It was a
good
great time. It was a fantastic time.
Made
Even
a bunch of
though
friends.
me running the stream got me AFK kicked at least twice.
Tragic. Your sacrifices will be remembered.
Remember that I once lived.
How dare you?
F.
Remember that you were once live.
Remember that my alt once lived.
That's amazing. Do it again.
Ah!
Remember.
No, I'm not a voice actor.
I mean,
Anyways,
neither.
this is a Q&A.
You're not a
my voice once lived.
I'm gonna kill you.
This is a Q&A for everyone, for the rest of our crew who you haven't met. We only mentioned them that we work with other people. So if you haven't had questions for the rest of the crew or would like to meet some of them, now is your chance. Since you've already met 3 of us so far, why not meet the other 4?
I'm glad you can math because I sure can't right now.
Why do you think I pass every time on Construct 7?
That's the only time I can math.
It's not
That's-
that. It's just that
I
you know
mean-
what the numbers are.
Yeah.
I wish I
Wait,
knew
Bonnie, what's a prime
number
number?
Invisible
Fuck you.
pile of secrets.
was. I'm a
I see,
political
Bonnie.
scientist. I'm a political scientist, not that kind of scientist.
I'm an English major. Don't you dare put numbers in front of me.
That's great. Listening guard.
Well said. Well said.
Oh, daily
Humanity-
flavor. Sorry, go ahead.
If I put a 2 plus 2 in front of you, will you just kind of break?
2 plus 2 is easy because usually when I mess up on math, it's because I multiply instead of adding, and 2 plus 2 is the same as 2 times 2. That's the
Yeah,
only one I can get right. It's not
Tell
true. I'm
that-
actually decent at math.
Tell that to Construct 7.
Great. I love doing that.
Some friends, I wanted to share something with you if you don't mind.
Please.
It's the
Friends?
Daily Sauce. Every time I get on Twitch, there's some nonsense going on. So-
All we see is half of the encyclopedia yours
No, I
right
know.
now.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Very well.
And simultaneously with the Olympics is Amaranth licking 2 mics today.
Oh God.
Okay.
Why?
This never ends.
Foul.
It never ends. No, this is not watch history. This is what's live now. They think I'll like it.
Don't we normally like reserve bonking for me and Bonnie? Yeah,
They
we're gonna
do, but
bonk Theo.
why is this Twitch the current state of Twitch, guys?
All right. So Cobb's
You-
next project should be to make the Zodiac Bonk staff IRL, so we can hit foul with it.
It's true.
No, you don't
I
like
did not
characters.
sign up to watch this.
Someone quick ask a question.
Ask a question, guys. We need you. I'm heading to Bonnie's house.
In your Starbucks uniform.
Oh yes, I gotta do some work.
Over the river and through the woods to Bonnie's house you go.
Yes.
Gotta deliver that frappe. Double time.
Did you say frappe?
First, the real
Read it
question
in-
is the real question
We got a
is he
frog.
the real question is he wearing underwear under this the uniform?
I
I'm
hope
not
so.
gonna look.
I don't think the inquiring minds do not want to know. We need to get someone to read frappe in Ilbaird's voice with like sloppe.
What, like you mean
Frappe.
this? Frappe.
Exactly.
Frappe.
Frappe. Now I want to use my sloppe emote. Where is it?
Got a giggle out of me. I need a full-fledged. Bonnie,
It's
what
okay.
are you doing?
She's just desensitized. No big deal.
What do you mean? What am I doing?
I zone in and you have like half ASCII chat.
Oh. I said I had to use the thing, so I used the thing. I'll use it again for your benefit.
I don't get it.
Your chat window is probably not big enough then.
My chat window's perfect, thank you.
Sorry, too small.
I could say other things.
You can't just say that about someone, Bonnie. Come on.
F. Then again, he's a cyborg, so
No one asked, but I'll go ahead and answer the question anyway. I really actually like the Griffin fight. Some people find the voice lines a little annoying, but I found them mostly entertaining and very informative. Like when I do a fight, I need some audio cues to be like, okay, he said this, now I need to run behind him or whatever. It's very nice.
He's like, I have you now, and then you know you have to do something. Like you have to run.
It's great when I'm the healer and he's like, I have you, or no, that's the line. That's when he does the attack. He does the one thing, and I'm like, oh boy, it's bondage time. Because he chains up the healer.
Oh boy, it's bondage time.
Accurate.
It'll never beat the ethereal gale from Hades, though.
When I played, when I did the dying gasp on my alt the first time, you know, I watched the cutscene because I mean, come on, it was still pretty new at that point. It was only a few weeks in,
It was,
and
yeah.
because you know, I ran through on my main, then I ran through on my alt, and then it drops the ethereal jail marker, and I'm like, ah, ha, ha, what's this? I accidentally stood in it because I'm a new character, and they wouldn't know.
He just picks a healer. He likes the healers.
well, that's also the reason Boney plays tanks on Hades,
I
just
mean,
to get the Ravenous Assault.
I did that during the Hades EX farming. I would always try and pick a job that he would get in there.
We really do need the Zodiac bonking staff in real life.
we do. We really, really do.
This is pretty intense, not gonna lie.
Oh,
You mean the house?
Yes, this is peak
Yeah, the house.
content. Walking around an FC house. Peak content.
We are serious.
We haven't even
No.
peaked the audio scale yet.
Actually, nope. But
Well,
so maybe we should, for those who are new, maybe we should most people would know of Ayumi, Nila, and Cope because LunarCon, but maybe we should introduce ourselves or something. I don't
Yes,
know.
let's introduce the rest of you guys because we introduced ourselves quite freely at the LunarCon stream. Bonnie, you go first.
hi, I'm Bonnie. I'm a published author who usually can't speak the words and sometimes can't even type the words.
She's also very, very tired as per her avatar. She never goes to bed.
I mean, I sleep.
I've never
Some.
seen you get it so much as 40 winks. However, do you stay awake?
Copious amounts of monster drinks, caffeinated tea, and coffee.
I was going to
Oh.
say she's a
writer, all right.
I was going to say she's a crystallized Lucy. She doesn't need sleeping. She's already a crystal.
Also possible.
Dan mentions they think they recognize that house. Nice.
Shadow Meowth should go next.
Yep.
I mean,
Meowth, go.
You should go next because you have commissions open.
Facts.
I do.
Real facts.
I do, but well, I guess.
I also have a coughing problem.
Do you want me to go on about COVID and the like?
Yes.
No, because I actually got my first shot the other day, so I can't use that excuse anymore.
Congrats, though.
Still have I have to pen on this the second one. So what I can say about myself, that's a difficult one. My artistic name and pretty much everywhere on the internet is Shadow Meowth or either Meowth the Starry. I'm a graduate in fine arts, concept artist, and scenario writer. And for some years, been working on meta on the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, and ever since I got to 14, then after mostly 5.3, I truly began proper theory crafting, lore diving, because before I didn't feel confident enough to dabble in that. And I also have to apologize for my atrocious accent. If I don't mean, I mean, I'm not a native speaker, okay? So if you have troubles understanding me, please ask, and I will repeat every time, as many times as it's needed. So yeah, I apologize on advance for that.
Sarah.
Oh boy, it's my turn. I'm a political scientist, a fanfic writer, a philosopher, a memer, all that jazz. Trans, plural, polyamorous, all that fun stuff. I have lots of different things I could say about all that, but basically, the main thing I guess would be that I write a lot about international relations, political science, terrorism more recently. But I also like to write a lot about Emmett Warrior of Light and comfort stuff and all that warm, fuzzy Emmett and Warrior of Light fan fiction in my off time. I also like to talk about lore, which is why I'm here. And hopefully with time I can contribute more to the stream than just being the moral center.
And fantastic pose, mistress.
That is true.
I'm totally not bringing up my Twitter about Hilda or I or nothing like that. Anyways, Val.
Hey, Fallon Hawk here. I mostly identify as a father of two, but I am also a lore-friendly person with a history background, and I work in IT, so kind of do a lot of different stuff. Love myself some mythology and old stories, and that's always the case. I do a yearly tramp through the Epic of Gilgamesh and things like that, so it's just a little side hobby of mine, and I love this game and everything about it, and I've been happy to be here since week 1, so it's an absolutely phenomenal team to work with, and hi.
He also has a sexy radio voice.
And believes of friendship.
I would love
boy.
to. I'd love to pick your brain about the Epic of Gilgamesh sometime, Fail.
It's one of my favorites. I actually have an audiobook of it I've been going through this year, but
Nice.
there's an old translation I read back when I was in college, just working at the library. Oh, you guys don't know that about me. I have been out of college since 2006. However, I worked every weekend at a mixture of the coffee shop and the library and the bookstore. I used to do some work for some of the staff at my college, work study in the history and social sciences department, and that's kind of my very ancient history. When I got out of school, I didn't even think once that I wanted to be a teacher or anything, and what a fool to get a degree in the liberal arts and not really have a plan. I backed up into my hobby, which was computers and technology, and I've just been working kind of maintenance tier technology stuff with IT since then. So
that sounds kind of like the reverse of what I did. I actually started with video game development and art fundamentals. So I'm actually kind of like a mix of what Shadow's done and what you've done a little bit.
it's interesting.
I know how to make games as well as make academic writing.
And then there's me, who started out as a physics major and ended up switching over to English.
Hey, I honestly, if I didn't suck as much as I do about math, I would probably be into theoretical physics too. I love astronomy.
But you're a military veteran too, Manila.
That's true. I also forgot to mention that I write fanfic as well. It's actually one of my primary, like when I want to explore a theory and really play it out, I'll make a fanfic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I started doing fanfic finally again as well.
Neela's
Siren Call
fanfiction is amazing, and one of the inspirations for me doing my own more recently. And I can totally agree. Like, it's a really good space for just getting ideas out there and going a little nuts, but also like trying to be a little more serious sometimes too.
Okay, your fanfiction's great too.
I should go back to writing my big one, but it's not from Final Fantasy 14, so it's kind of.
It's all about 13 for you to get it.
That's all right. Actually, that's something that's very valuable because
Not only is it all about 13, but it's all about hope. We get it.
A lot of the previous Final Fantasies themes and characters do feed into Final Fantasy 14 in subtle ways. So it's not a bad thing.
No.
No, but that particular work, I consider it like a culmination of, well, not a culmination, because with the 13th trilogy, it's almost impossible to untangle everything. Every time I go through the trilogy, I'm just like, oh fuck, I didn't realize this. That's why I thought that you would enjoy it, Neela. These guys can actually tell how excited I was, because last night for me, we finished Final Fantasy 13. I'm in the process of running a lore dive run for it before Endwalker, and I don't know if Bonnie was there, Neil was there, and I was too excited. The games mean a lot to me. A lot. I mean, in a really personal way. One day I will speak about that, but today it's not the day, I guess.
I see. The problem with me being like, oh yeah, I do this, oh yeah, I do that, is unfortunately I do almost everything, anything. Like, I do vocal parodies sometime. I like to sing. Very musical. Not very well, but I mean, the editing isn't great, but I try. What else do I do? Oh, handcrafts. Literally everything. Made some
You know
shirts
what?
once.
I feel
You
that.
know, you know what? Actually, Nula, from what I understand, I'm going to get a keyboard. Like a piano keyboard soon. So I will be able to check some of our musical analysis stuff directly. So that's great.
Nice. Yeah, unfortunately, our piano is an analog piano. It's not exactly hooked up to a computer. But I can always wander over to it and plunk around if I need to.
Well, that's okay, right? Get your music in.
Actually, I've been meaning for since the Endwalker trailer released to do a little bit on jazz chords and the music of it, but I just haven't had the time.
But
Time
I
has
actually
been going so fast too. Like, holy shit, we're so close to Endwalker already.
well, so close.
Well, 109
3 months
days
or less.
away. So yeah.
Remind me, it'll go slower.
Oh no, it'll speed up.
Slow down.
As far as I don't know what you guys' real lives are like, but between the regular work, the parenting, the story time, the driving kids to daycare and back, and then I'm when I'm not in game or podcasting with you guys, every spare moment I have is spent assembling a playset we bought this summer out in the back. So I'm so busy that time really does fly, and week to week it's like, it's Friday again? What happened? Friday again? What happened? Friday again?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Endwalker will be here. And in the meantime, there's plenty of other stuff to play if you're caught up. This year is like a new golden age of released games. Like it's every once in a while you get these years that it's just game after game after game and you can't keep up. It's impossible.
Sorry.
Like, I don't know, are there any games you guys are into other than FF right now? I'm not.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
matter of
Get back
of time.
into
It's a matter of time. I just don't have
It is very much a matter of time.
Yeah, exactly.
I forced some time into my schedule to play. Oh, what's it called? Let me double check, make sure I don't say the wrong one. Because there's two that were kind of similar. The Outer Worlds.
Oh.
Which I've been enjoying quite a bit.
That's a good one.
I enjoy like biting social commentary sort of things, and this one has that in spades. And I've been
absolutely.
very much enjoying the. I've been very much enjoying it.
I'd love to get your thoughts on it when you're done.
Indeed, I'm not very far in yet, but because of the aforementioned time problem.
Ah!
You know what? Who else has other games they've been playing recently that we should talk about or recommend?
I've been
do-
playing some Swords of Legends online, which is a Chinese fantasy style MMO that's action combat. It's pretty fun. The new raid, or the first raid I should say, just came out this past week, but I haven't gotten to play that yet. And then pretty much other than that, I'm still playing some Final Fantasy XI. I need to play the Pixel remasters that just came out.
Yo, me too.
I need to
Me
get
too.
those.
And then, oh, what else? Honestly, thinking about playing Stardew Valley again.
A good choice.
Oh, I can
Just so that
imagine
you
why
can
that
get
would
used
be.
to, so you can get ready for the island housing.
And
Well,
to
that
play
and
the certain mod.
also, like, there was a mod that popped up on my Twitter timeline
Yeah.
recently.
I know
want to
exactly
download
why.
that.
Upgrade to the wizard.
They
Though
replaced.
I'm gonna have to remod Stardew Valley from scratch because of how long it's been since I
Right.
played it, and that is going to be a process because I think I have like 90 mods installed right now for it.
I'm that weird purist who never wants to mod things. At least not until I've beaten it like 3 times.
Yeah, I've beaten it before, and then I found this really cool mod that completely overhauls the farm in like a really cool way and adds some really good quality of life stuff and more NPCs and more story. So I was like, yes, more story, give more story.
Always good.
Regarding the Pixel remasters, isn't there a race going on?
I believe so.
I'm not familiar with this.
I think there's some people who are just, I don't know if there's an official race, but I think people are going 1 through whatever it ends at and just like trying to crush it. I would play
Yeah.
it slowly, but I think
Yeah, same.
they're Russian.
I mean, I haven't played 1 through 6, so when
Play
I play it,
6,
I'm gonna
play
do it
6,
slow.
Play 6.
Play 6.
Play 6.
Play 6.
I
Play
bought
4.
the bundle of the remasters. It's fine.
4 is also excellent.
Yeah.
That was my first Final Fantasy game, so it has a special place in my heart.
Same.
It's also the reason I decided to go Dragoon in this game.
Of the classics, I've only played Final Fantasy 1 and 2. And I don't know if you can consider it classic. When I download an emulator for PS1 I play Final Fantasy 9, and but my first Final Fantasy ever was Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Thus, I came to know Final Fantasy 12 after playing Tactics Advance 2, because it's closely related to 12. And after a fateful misclick on the YouTube site suggesting videos, I came to know the Final Fantasy 13, and that's when one
Things
thing
went
led
downhill.
to another. That's when one thing led to another, and yeah.
And so began something timeless.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I'm very curious to know what other Final Fantasy games people have played and which ones they definitely recommend. Because I haven't played them all yet. I'd love to, but again, the time what we say, loud music. The time constraints are an issue.
Who has loud music?
Absolutely recommend the three tactics.
It's gone now.
Oh, F.
Can you? Do they have the tactics ones out on Steam yet, or do I have to Because I've never owned a handheld video game system. I'm unlikely to, aside from my phone.
I mean, Tactics, the original one, you can download it from Google Play. That's how I.
Oh, okay.
Tactics Advance, you would perhaps need, but there are Game Boy Advance emulators for phones, so I guess you could play that one. But I don't know how exactly they would play, because currently I guess a Game Boy Advance game would be hard to come by. But it's a really great game. And as for Tactics Advance 2, that's a DS game, so that one perhaps you would need a Nintendo DS emulator. But but
I would never do anything illegal like that.
But
get ready to lose yourself in Tactics Advance for a long time.
Indeed.
I don't remember how many hours I spent.
Oh god, my original file. I think I have 400 hours.
I think that's around how much of time I spent there too. Yeah, because I couldn't stop.
It's so great. And of course, I recommend Final Fantasy 12 because I just love Ivalice. And if you don't see me recommending the 13 trilogy, is because they're complicated games to understand. You can play them, and you can enjoy them, of course. But first, they're quite story-driven. And their lore is really intricate. So it's, as much as I consider them a work of art, it's like some works of art. They're not for everyone. So that's why I would recommend them. If I were myself, yes, absolutely.
Wait, what?
But if what?
Wait, you mean art is subjective? I'm being fucking sorry.
Wow.
Some people struggle with that.
Yeah,
A lot of people
yeah,
struggle
they
with
do.
that.
Pro
But
tip: if you ever get into writing and publish, don't read reviews. Just don't do it.
I'm gonna
Do
keep
not
that in
look.
mind.
listen, with art, I mean, fine arts as a degree, it's more formality than anything else. But you do get some basics. So the world of art. If you don't want to be like an entitled piece of, then you have to bear in mind that perception does not work for everyone else the same way as it does for you. For me, there's one thing like you guys were discussing earlier in the lunar camp panel. One thing is what it's canon, and one thing is our perspective on that. The 13th trilogy, is it a masterwork? Is it a work of art? Yes, because you cannot deny the beauty of the environments, the lore that's behind it, the music, the characters. You can't ignore that. Then again, there's the thing: is this story meant to appeal to everyone? That's where it's probably not the same for everyone. So that's where I draw the line.
And I'd like to basically go into a bit what one of my music theory teacher in college, who was a fantastic guy, really, really intelligent. One of the things he would go through, because he was teaching us, and I use the word loosely, rules of music composition. And the way he explained it was, this is how to make music harmonious, calm, like enjoyable and appealing on a broad level. It is not wrong to compose outside these rules. But if you do, you're going to get an odd sound. Now, sometimes you want that. Thanks, Bonnie. Sometimes you want that odd sound. Like sometimes you want to make something sound eerie, off, crazy. Obviously, dissonance in music is an important thing that is used for resolution and to make things interesting. The same as tension and conflict in stories is what will make them interesting and gripping. It's all about peppering it into the desired level, though. It's not wrong to break the rules. It's just that it will annoy some people.
Are you familiar with, the musical Jesus Christ Superstar? I guess you are.
That's a good one.
Gethsemane, the Garden's Prayer, that's in the musical. I don't know if you know the piece.
I've seen it all through. It's just been a little while.
Okay, so if you were what you were telling about harmony and tension and the like, the key in which that particular piece ends is really particular, because you expect to. This is kind of musical theory, forgive me, but it goes for you at the end of a musical piece. You expect to end on the dominant key, but to add tension to that particular scene, of course, related to what the musical is telling, Gethsemane ends on the I don't know how you say the non-dominant key, because in Spanish and English the names of keys and
do you use the numbers?
Are different.
Do you use the numbers like for the tonic and then 2 through 7?
I think yes. Well, that's something that's always confusing to me. Like you start the scale in C, and it's like we had aside from having a whole different name from the notes, it's like you start in C and you don't start in A.
Yeah.
It's like so speaking music in English is really confusing to me, but I mean I do have some musical background too. I mean, I guess it comes from my parents, well, my biological mother and my father being both musicians. So.
Yeah, Ayumi keeps getting the iCam whenever I reset it. Like,
Get on my level.
get on my level.
In video games, you have to. I mean, I'm a concept artist, yes, but some people allow me to complain for a moment here. Some people consider our in role in video games like it's not the beautiful artwork, it's not the promotional art, it's not the video game itself, but concept art needs a lot of knowledge of things, pretty much, of color theory, of psychological theory, architecture, and also it requires a great deal of patience because you have to work you depend on what the higher team they will like what you're doing, or if they don't, they will probably tell you to redo the entire thing, or can you combine this with that to make it, and you're like, yes, I can I can do that. But it's and then you get to the final design. So I mean, I know a lot of people who are illustrators, and they do great artwork. But I know my style is rather humble in comparison, but
Your style is great, and don't you forget it.
It's true.
I mean, compare with other people who do illustration. No,
comparisons are odious, Meow.
Comparisons are not something you should get your head wrapped up in.
In
Your
any type
style
of
is
art.
great.
Well, and that's
Exactly.
the point. That's kind of the point I'm making with what I was saying before. Just because something's different doesn't mean it's better. Just because someone has, made it their life work or has a natural talent, like that'd be like my poor sister listening to me sing, and she's like, "Man, I wish I could sing like that." And I'm like, it's just there's just genetics involved. Yes, I've worked. To be fair, I have worked for like 3 decades straight on my voice, so there's that too. But there's a natural. You can't just like. That's why I loved when I read the Cheaper by the Dozen. Comparisons are odious. All of us human beings, we all got different abilities and skill sets, and comparing ourselves just doesn't really work out that well.
Chat, what do you think of Meowth's artwork?
Yes.
Is it good?
Good question.
Done.
Scale from a scale of 10 to 10.
Nani?
You get no input on this, Meowth. This is chat only.
Unfair.
References are a tool. You better believe I look up words when I'm like, wait, did I spell that right when I'm writing or whatever?
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Just wrote the word that I
All
think
the
means
time.
this. Is that actually what that means?
Exactly. Especially when you're trying to
work
mimic
with-
the old English of like Eorzean, like how they speak a little old Englishy. You gotta kind of like guess what would potentially work in that context. But what does that word actually mean? Because you don't use it outside of this context.
Mm-hmm.
I work with references, that, guys, because I mean, one of the peculiarities of mankind is adaptation and practicality, and if you can get a better result in less time, then you will use a reference. Of course, I practice to be able to draw by memory. And you've seen some of my sketches, my very rough sketches of concept art. When I'm designing gear sets of the like,
Wait, those were rough?
Those are rough.
Huh. Wouldn't have guessed. They didn't look very rough to me. Okay, Meowth, maybe you should just see my sketching. It's like stick figures.
Well,
This is why comparisons are odious. That means
That's-
hateful, I suppose, if that's
that's
your
very
word.
rough sketching, but at the same time, for example, the like a couple months ago, I think I was doing this gear set of the 12 Espers base gear set that I finished. I still have to finish the one I left in the middle, but I finished the Fending Maiming gear set. The one was based on Zodiac, and of course I had the reference of Zodiac next, but I had to kind of put together the gear set, trying to be faithful to the Esper traits. So, but still, I really, to be fair, I do make my own references. I have some model posing programs, so that also alleviates a lot of my work when it comes to composition and like. But I can draw from memory, and I've done that for a long time too. It's just that if you want a more polished result, you go for what it works. It's as simple as that. And I mean, when you see people using references, it's all right, because when you see a painter going outside to the park or to the countryside to paint, they're painting with a reference. I mean, they have the how do you say it? Well, they have the landscape they want to paint in front of them. Medieval, the Renaissance painters, they had models to paint with, and they changed perhaps something there, something that, but they use reference. So when people come and tell me that art only works if you draw from memory, it's actually not really. I mean, you can if you want to flex on people, but it's not real practical.
Oh yeah.
Do
It
any of
wasn't going for you, Garden. It's just my opinion.
do any of you guys have questions for each other? Do any of us have questions or answers they'd like to get out of each other?
I thought it was pretty interesting to learn that Mila can sing.
I actually have been I've been very good. I have not burst out into song unwarranted and unwarning. Like, I don't think I've done it at all. I'm very proud of myself. Usually I just will not shut up. That's more like during raid and we're trying to call stuff out and I'm like, that reminds me of a song!
Aww. That sounds like a great skill, honestly. I wish I could sing.
Anyone can sing. Anyone can sing. Now,
Even
it doesn't always sound like singing in some cases, but that's alright.
I can certainly hold a tune, but as perhaps is understandable, I don't have the best relationship with my voice.
Mood.
I would like to ask the creators on this team how they got to be so expert at things like layers. That would be Meowth, Bonnie, and who else?
They know ogres.
Oh
mean-
Lord.
Really,
Jeez.
like it's really when a layperson looks at these programs, you're just like, what?
You haven't.
Picking up
I
skills
used to
along
work
the way.
with. I used to work with 3D programs to make 3D models, and those are 10 times worse. They always fucking have more layers to them that are just like eyes glaze over. Like Autodesk
So-
Maya.
I'm one of those people who doesn't do well with tutorial articles or videos, no matter like if it's related to the game or if it's related to a program. So I literally will just go into a game or a program and I will start hitting buttons and menus just to see what's there. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is, so let's find out what that is. So I started using Photoshop when I was 17, and I just kind of felt it out and figured out how it works by playing with it.
I wouldn't consider myself an expert by any means, though I've had to use things like layering and masking in some of the videos and stuff I've made, and that's all thanks to my sister. I just call her, I'm like, hey, I need to do this, how do I do that? And she just like walks me through it. She's a graphic designer.
If you work in the graphic in the arts department, you have to know about this thing, because then I when I'm drawing, I mean, I had previous experience with Photoshop, but when I began drawing, layers became pretty much my bread and butter of daily bread and butter, and I always in my SAA files I will always keep my my layers separated, because if you don't, then
Bad things happen.
yes.
Fortunate
And
things.
I've seen, of course, if you're going for a one layer.
Layer.
If you're going, sorry. If you're going for one layer illustration, which there exists, then go for it. It's like pretty much trying to do an oil acrylic painting, which I'm not a fan of, but I know how to do them. But if you're not, and you don't want either the person who's going to work afterwards curse all of your ancestors, or you don't want to make a mess of your own work, then you must keep everything separated in different layers. I do keep when you see one of my compositions, if it's more than one character, their liner, I do have the line arts separated on what's body, what's clothing, and what's hair, and that's the line art. And then the color, each shade of color, it's in a different layer. So, but in complex compositions, I've been there's some of my files having no less than 100 layers, whatever.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed too is like a lot of people don't know that you can use folders in programs like Photoshop to organize your layers too. So there's been cases where I'm doing typography for a client and they send me the PSD file of their artwork so that I can like interweave the typography with the artwork. And I'm like, okay, why is this PSD 2 gigabytes, which is the cap for the size of what a PSD file can be? And I'm just like, oh no. And then I'll open the PSD, and not only did the artist, paint it at like 700 DPI or more, there's been cases where there's like 4,000 layers.
Yeah, I'm kind of guilty of that.
I'm one of those people, when I see something like that, I'll go through and I'll start turning layers on and off to like deconstruct how the illustration is put together, because I'm like, why are there that many layers?
Like,
and there'll be
the
like
thought process.
Yeah, and there'll be like layers where it's just like a single brush stroke or dot, and I'm like, I appreciate your attention to detail, but good lord, please use some folders or something.
Yeah, like if you're just gonna add out for an eyeball or something, at least put it in like a folder that says facial features.
Yeah, because for me, like in this particular case, I needed to layer the book cover in such a way where the character's head and shoulders were overlapping the title. And I couldn't find where the hair and the facial features and the body and the armor even were. I had to scroll through 4,000 layers to find where that crap was. And then, like, duplicate those layers, merge them, and then create a layer mask in that shape. Like, it was super tedious.
Yeah, that sounds a little bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
May I ask, can you guys hear, viewers, can you hear the track list in the house? I would just want it to be present, but not overpowering. Okay, not at all. Got it.
Well, it's not overpowering.
That's true.
We also have an
now?
Ayumi.
We also have me doing what I normally do on Tuesday
Mhm.
at the Rough Landing on Excalibur. I play music for an RP venue. So
Yeah, I can hear this sound now.
If it's too much.
shameless promotion, by the way. I'm a rock. Whoa!
Hear
Careful.
it squeak.
That was a little much.
Amaranth has that effect on people.
I've been hiccuping a lot for the past like week and a half. I don't know
That
why.
was a hiccup? That was the
Yes.
most adorable hiccup I've ever
That was
heard.
never a hiccup.
Please do that again.
Bonnie is secretly a mouse.
Oh my god.
published author mouse,
Exposed.
writing under a pseudonym.
Question for you. What's it like being a mouse?
You almost made me spit my drink.
You're welcome.
Good.
She's a raptor. She's a raptor. Got it.
God damn it. I mean, in my static, they do call me the Lala Raptor because my feet don't touch the floor in my computer chair and I squeak frequently.
That's awesome.
That is just freaking amazing.
Is that because you're in fear of falling off and you squeak to get yourself back up?
No, but if you ever play Soul Calibur 6 with me and you ring me out, you will definitely hear incomprehensible squeaky noises.
Just
Well, now I
know,
wanna learn.
oh my god, it's not that hard.
Now I want to
That
learn to
sounds
do
like
that.
yeah, that sounds like a thing that we should do on our yet to be done gameplay night.
I was gonna say I played Soul Calibur.
Or if we did something on like a holiday like Christmas, we could just like all gather up and play some games together.
That
And
Yeah.
sounds fun.
get Bonnie to squeak and get Meowth to laugh.
Get Leela to sing.
I don't know what's
Yes.
worse. When I don't know what's worse. When I laugh or when I go full fangirl mode.
I don't know either.
It's okay, me squeaking in Soul Calibur when I get thrown out of the arena is probably worse than either. It's fine.
if you-
Now I have to do that. So
If you want to see me losing it in fangirl mode, I would direct you to my recently finished Final Fantasy 13 Lord Dive run.
yeah, you were pretty adamant about that.
I'm sorry.
Stop apologizing,
There's some
Meow.
things. I mean, I'm usually rather tame when it comes to liking things and the like, but the 13 trilogy is. And Boney likes to make fun of me, suggesting things that may happen in 14 related to 13, and I think she's quite eager to see me
Plot
lose
twist,
my
hope
shit.
dies.
Wow. I mean, like, my goal in life, Meowth, is just to make you use the flail emote more.
Yep.
It's true.
Actually, to make you really freak out, mention anything Drakengard and Nier around Meowth or I. That
I mean-
will make us.
We do have a 2-hour between the lines episode.
Yes, we do. We fan geeked
you
out
make-
about that.
You make fun of me, but the one who was crying and making fanboy noises at Florence was you.
Yes, it was. I'm not ashamed of it either. Listen, you did that first, and then you had to message the rest of the Discord, and I'm like, why is she freaking out? And then I did the raid later, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
I guess I messaged the Discord before because I go like 6 hours ahead of you.
I see, you're a future teller.
But I kind of recall you were discussing singing and stuff. I can kind of, but yeah, not as
Found his radio voice.
What? Who what?
Val can do like the tenor, the lower stuff.
and for some incomprehensible sorry, for some weird reason. Screw that. Ayumi's still bent on me singing the Guardian Anthem.
It's because it's brilliant and funny and good. It's like all three in one. It's just amazing.
Indeed.
Yep.
It's good content, Meow.
You're a
If
content
I-
creator, Meowth.
Just gotta enunciate more.
I draw. I don't sing.
That's content.
That
It's
is
okay,
content,
it's
yes.
okay.
That's motherfucking content.
Content.
I see you guys. You're trying to
Oh my
convince me
lord.
to
Lord.
go,
Just say-
to go ahead.
Whose
Seems a little
weapon is that
malcontent.
that's just through my skull?
Yeah.
That would be mine. I apologize.
Why hasn't the camera changed yet?
You probably accidentally paused it.
Quote unquote accidentally.
The clipping is so bad.
There you go.
I'm humming.
You're humming.
Yes.
Oh, like the humming way is nice.
I like that my shoe bill just decided to plop her butt here and stay.
I'm just watching my
Paused,
fox
unpaused,
clip
paused,
through everything.
unpaused.
To be fair, one of the themes I like to sing from 14, whenever it plays, and I cannot help but sing along, is Locus. You know, Alexander?
Yeah.
That one I cannot resist singing along.
All the ones that I want to sing along with are too high out of my register, and I'm just like, damn it.
Then change the register.
So
Yeah.
that's what octave down is for.
I have to
I
focus
mean-
so hard to do that. It frustrates me.
Which one? Oh, Fiend, Sephiroth's theme also makes me want to sing along, and Sophia's theme, Equilibrium too.
What is it like when you pull back the curtain?
What is it like when you? I can't use a metal voice, but I really like to sing along.
I used to be able to meddle. Then things happened and I stopped, and now I'm like, I shouldn't have stopped. I should have just ignored people.
Ignoring people is usually good advice.
It is.
Just like
It is.
what you said earlier about ignoring the comments and the reviews.
Yeah, when I was 16, I almost joined a Judas Priest cover band. And then, understandably, my parents were like, yeah, no, you're not going to perform in bars when you're 16.
Ayumi,
Hi.
it's hecka bugged. It only goes on you if you're playing.
Because it knows I'm
It may
playing.
not be bugged, it may just be like
DMCA
feature.
does.
No, it's a
Yeah,
feature.
it's not a
It's a
bug, it's
feature
a
I don't
feature.
like. I don't like this feature. This is a bad feature. This is a dumb feature.
Well, that's why you do
It's bad.
/icam and then the pointy
No,
things.
I did me.
Speaking
but
of-
still,
What?
it's because I'm close. I don't know.
Speaking
That's
of
fine.
music,
It knows I'm playing Muse. And it's like, oh yes. No,
I love
focus.
Muse.
speaking of music, now that would be a nice question to ask the crew. Which one of the songs with themes with lyrics it's your favorite, or which one you prefer to sing along?
Tomorrow
All
and
of them.
tomorrow is a big one, and then also To the Edge. To
Yeah,
the Edge is one I
so-
basically know like off the top of my head, lyric for lyric.
Same.
Whenever I'm in the
I walk
Tempest,
around singing Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hell
Sure.
yeah!
Whenever I'm in the Tempest at all, usually for hunts or treasure hunts, it just To the Edge is immediate.
Yeah.
And, like kind of low key, lower.
Like broken angels,
Yeah.
So we knew we'd get it. Thanks.
Heaven's Gate.
I need to
See,
memorize the
there's this-
lyrics for that still.
Like broken
Yes,
angels, wingless, cast from
Heaven's Gate.
Slumbering
Yeah, I
demons away.
It never ends.
Yes, time circles endlessly. All hands are turned. I never get that one. All hands are
The
pointed
hands
ahead.
of fate trained ahead.
The hands are trained
Yep.
ahead. Ah!
I do have it well.
Hands
Most
Yeah,
of
the
them.
hands of fate trail ahead.
Yeah, I have some parts of it
Forgive
memorized, and
me,
then others,
Soken!
I'm like, wait, what?
fires
What
of
were the
fate.
lyrics again?
The part that really stuck out for me was, and when we pray to gods that we've never seen, that kind of thing. And come shadow, come fall.
On hands and knees, we pray to gods we've never seen. Come
Exactly.
shadow,
Yeah.
come follow me. The final hour upon us. No more time to breathe.
That's powerful. Doubly
Tomorrow's
so
come
because
too
he was
soon.
fighting cancer.
The thematic motif of the whole Shadowbringers expansion and then Seed of Sacrifice theme says, "Oh, it's come too quickly." It's like his final
Indeed.
his final stand. Can I go? I know this is Q&A, but I always come back to like the concept that Warrior of Light is, if this time bubble thing is canon and not just Koji being lazy, God bless him. But if it's really true and it's a time bubble, can you imagine after 12,000 years of calamities and winning and making it happen and being close as an Asian, to lose control of this person you don't remember and can't imagine them being anything but just a regular human entity, not ancient at all, just losing control of them in a space of 2 years, and it all just going to shit. So that's tomorrow's come too soon.
That plus the whole, that I'm sure they were seeking some sort of solution to the sound, yet they weren't able to come up with anything better than let's give the star will.
Yeah.
That didn't help.
It did help. It stopped the star from immediately dying, but it brought in other problems that were not addressed well.
I cannot wait till those reveals happen.
Say,
It's gonna change the entire perspective on, like, either I'm going to be completely wrong or you
No.
guys are gonna be completely right, and I'm just waiting. Like the quote,
I
it's
was-
clear they couldn't countenance a permanent solution. That quote.
It's got a lot of weight. Makes me think Venat's up to something.
I'm still
Mhm.
thinking Hydaelyn is an anti-sound weapon, and Zodiark is just unfortunate.
I
As long
can't
as
wait
I get
to
to
the
walk
level
up to
90
the knob.
trial.
I'm thinking
and
that.
see Xenonat freaking Mega Evolve.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that both of them ended up being like pawns in a bigger game that Venat is playing to
I agree.
remake the world in such an image that they're the one in charge.
Maybe. I mean, that is our consistent discussion debate thing.
So long as I get to walk up to the knob, punch her in the face, walk off with a book from Charlayan, and be like, "Later, dudes."
I want to tell her off in ancient speak, like have Wool like Weenwoon at them, be like really
Green
pissed.
Moon. Love it.
No.
Pissed
Let
off
me
the
set
wrong
fire to the
traveler.
Charlayan library.
No, do not.
No.
Don't
We're not
punch them
doing.
because you're mad at them.
We're not doing a Library of Alexandria here. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want my Archon mark. God damn it!
But I want to see how many people I can make mad.
Like I really want to go to
Anyways.
Charlayan and get an Archon mark, like
Yeah,
all the
that's a better
Scions
idea
get.
to anger the Charlians. Let's go steal their fancy Aetherite. It's really pretty. I want it. Let's just go take it.
But
Yeah.
it's the same as the one in Thavnair.
No, not the Charlian one. The Thavnarian is the.
The Thavnarian one looks different. It's like covered in like.
Yeah, it's
colorful
just got some trappings on it, some like little
Mhm.
cloth bit. The Charlian one's a straight up Nautilus, and I want it.
And it looks exactly like that piece of art from Academia Amadeer. Only like 3D realized.
Also looks, as someone pointed out to me, like the ethereal sea underneath the anti-tower, the way it has a spiral on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
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 This where me off coughs.
Much to think about.
You, if you're going to cough cough it well.
Don't half troll me, Fao. Don't half troll me. Full troll or no troll.
Go troll or go home.
Go troll or go home.
Like if you troll me into singing, and then you try to make a parody of me singing, I will ask me that at least do it well. Or imitating my stupid accent.
Well, I could also flee and imitate you every 10 minutes or so.
Sure, you can flee the same in the same way I do.
I mean,
Badly.
is it like Ishtola where you run straight into a wall?
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Trips over the desks.
Just does a somersault over the desk, gets up. I'm
I-
fine.
I still maintain that she just, like, as soon as the camera cuts away, she just nuked the desk in front of her and walked through the explosion.
You know what? I just got the mental image of me when I think I flee, and Emmett Sulk teleporting me when I actually flee, and being Yashtola tripping on the desk.
Yeah, that's you, definitely.
I mean, to give her some credit, she's basically blind aside from either side. It's not really her fault.
Hero, I swear on the 12, I'm going to have to start taking a tab. Just said your 12, but same thing. There's a seat for Ayumi.
Doesn't want me to play anything. Guess I'll go back to this.
Me.
I wonder if there's a
PM
setting that like disables that feature. Or we could all play and then it would cycle. We haven't heard anything from the audience in a while. Anybody have a
Nope.
question or?
No, we're just talking amongst ourselves, I guess.
Q&A each other.
Q&A each other, yes.
How tall is everyone?
6'1", 5'9", 8 with a slouch, normally.
That's very detailed. I'm just
Don't
6'1".
slouch.
Measured himself in slouch and standing upright. it's very.
I don't know. I feel like slouching is something that.
No, the slouch is my normal.
Slouching is bad for you.
What would
And
Nova
it's something I
think?
can't get over.
Oh,
I'm 5'5".
they don't
We're
like it
nearly
when
the same
they're-
height. Oh my god.
Tiny, tiny bonbon.
Twinsies!
Oh my
I'm
god.
5'7". My character is my in-game height. Is my real life
I-
height.
Hey,
I'm
high
the
five, I'm
tallest
5,
person here.
like 5'6.5" or something.
Go team.
Please
Tall
don't tell
king.
me. Please don't tell me I'm the tallest person here.
Not tall.
8 foot
6'4".
37.
Well, maybe if I was an ancient. 6'1" though.
Yeah, if I stood up straight, I'd be.
Then we'd be twinsies. So stop slouching.
I listen. It just ends up that way.
Do more sit-ups.
I've
No,
taken too
absolutely
much
not.
dance and
more
horseback
squats.
riding and martial arts for me
I-
to slouch.
I'm sorry, I got lost in the sea of food. I don't know how that
How many
confusing
centimeters
height-
are you?
Google can convert it if you just slap it in there. Literally, Google Trans.
How many
Slap it in, give me
centimeters
the
are you?
centimeters.
I'm sorry, really, it's European problems.
Don't worry, I can
Hashtag
understand.
just European problem.
We have metric in Canada.
Just Euro problems. There we go.
I guess that's another
I-
thing we can mention is where we are in the world.
Oh yeah.
In,
Midwest.
Start singing
Lots of
"Where in the
corn.
World is Carmen Sandiego?"
East Coast US.
in centimeters, I think I'm 163, something like that. So not really tall. And then there's Seawin, my character, who is 152.
I play an Ellison character, so I can feel
That is
taller.
5
That's
foot
great.
3 inches and a half.
Nice.
Und half.
my decision to make Seawin that height was deliberate. It's the same height Hope is. So
My name, Sarah, on Aether, that's part of the reason I'm playing an elf right now on the camera is because I'm on primal on my alt. But I definitely can appreciate the Ellison height difference relative to max height Makote on my Lucian here, who is also the Archer's Guildmaster of Gridania.
Indeed.
I can't wait to be a bunny boy and bully like 90% of my FC because they're all minimum height Makote and our all females.
I know
Oh,
it's
no.
going to be great. You're going to be the twinkiest twink that ever twinked a twink.
Yuki, watch out, I'm coming for you.
That's funny.
Let me know if you ever need any help with that, Paul.
That was your best laugh yet. Holy shit.
We're gonna gang up on all the bottoms. That'll be how we can recover from the absolute trauma that Endwalker will visit Palms.
Oh god, I'm not ready. Like, I am, but I'm not.
I know.
We're gonna find Bonnie foaming at the mouth, slumped over a chair.
Ready as a lover bee.
I'm probably going to be an Walker, finishing Walker, needing 2 days to digest Walker at least, and then meanwhile I digest it, replay it with one of my characters, and repeat.
I'm gonna play it on Sarah. I'm gonna digest it. I'm gonna play it on Lucienne, and then I'm gonna digest it some
You're
more.
lucky because you don't have 25 characters to go through.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Like,
Is Meowth. I wonder
Meowth
if this fall is.
Meowth is nuts with alts, but I respect the hustle.
Bonnie becoming a mega twink. Are there any screenshots of Bond's bunny boy from the benchmark?
There are.
I do have them
I should probably
because I
post
have
some.
plans for
I'll put 'em
this.
up.
Super secret screenshots.
We need to get some art done of the new bum boy too.
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot that you can put up, Fal. Hold on.
Hooray!
But I'm sorry, Core, for the thing that it's currently going on, but with the whole lore of my characters, because I know it's a mess.
I've been trying to write fan fiction for Shadow Meowth, and it is quite a lot to grapple with compared to what I've done for other people like Amy. Like,
Meanwhile,
that many
me and shipping myself with Hilda Ware from Heavensward.
yeah,
Which,
shipping
if
with
you
Hilda,
haven't-
like, writing Ayumi and Hilda was actually very easy. I found relative to trying to write a fuckload of characters.
If you've seen my Twitter, it is covered with Hilda XWOL stuff. So yeah,
It's a high quality choice.
I'm very glad I've helped Ayumi be enabled to produce nothing but Hilda love.
you sure have enabled me. That's for sure.
In more ways
can-
than one.
I can actually, I mean, it's still working. I'm still working on the website, but I can send Fao the link to my website for my characters so you can check them.
She has like 3 whole like groups of warriors of light and warriors of darkness and everything else. They're just like interacting in such complicated ways.
I should show them.
It's a
Haven't
lot.
you listed them somewhere?
I do have that. Give me a moment.
I sent you the
I see it.
screenshot, Fal.
Here we go. Bonnie's Bonbon. Ah,
I'm gonna
it's
call her
enormous
Bunny
again.
after this.
Why does this keep happening?
No.
But I do have to warn you though that I have a number of placeholder things because writing the whole biographies for everyone is really time consuming. But I'm working on that. And on the meantime, I managed to send Core snippets of what I can.
It's all very appreciated.
Give me a moment.
Thanks to Bonnie, I have access to a program called Scrivener, which has made it much easier to organize all the lore for your characters that I have so far.
Scrivener is amazing.
It's been very helpful.
Oh,
Here you go, Fao.
thank you, thank you. Oh,
I especially found it helpful when people give me lore for their characters to write, and I'm able to just like put it down in different folders in the same like drop-down menu in Scrivener, and then just easily access it. That's been
Yeah,
so
and
easy.
And the fact that you can do the split screen thing to
Exactly.
reference stuff, like, it's so
Yeah.
good.
So you can just have it on the screen while you're also writing. It's so good. Fuck Word. Microsoft Word can take a hike.
Yeah.
Friendship with Word ended. Now
Mhm.
Scrivener's my best friend.
Exactly, my bestie.
Yeah.
So this is Meowth's website with all of her alts.
Well, not my website. It's just for my characters and my story of in 14.
fancy.
Thank you.
Does this mean I have to create one for mine?
It depends how fancy you are.
Listen, I drink my sodas with one pinky held out.
Ooh. I think you should get on the whole site thing then.
Yep, looks like it.
It's pretty remarkable how many alts you have. I don't know what else to say except
It makes me think a lot of my own thing, where I explore ideas and lore and stuff, but in writing instead of in creating alts. Seems like a similar process though.
So you can check the atheist.
Thing?
No, you can check downwards because no, I mean in the profiles of each character, there's there's other things, not just like you pick a character you like.
it's serious.
Yeah,
Serious work.
I'm gonna send you a
That-
link, Fal.
that's
Sure.
that biography is a placeholder, but still. I do have stuff.
Meowth is more organized about her alts than I am about like the characters in my books. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
If you want to check my art of my characters, which is still going on, it's in under the tab more and should be the artwork. The artwork. I think it's artwork. The thing. If you want to check, because I kind of update when I recall. So under the tab, and no, those are the profiles. Those.
If you're watching the stream, I'm about 10 seconds ahead.
You're in the future?
The nature of streaming.
Yep, still ahead of you.
This is what we mean when we're like, yo, no, Meowth, your art is really fantastic.
Why? Because it's hours ahead of the curve.
It's just beautiful artwork, really. Especially as you get further towards the bottom. Some of these are just so intricate. This one in particular I like, Nagiuranai. I love the leaves, the veil kind of vibe.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Take our love, Meowth.
There is no escape. Do not try to flee.
If you notice, the RP here is bearer of the hell half of the fire crystal of darkness. It's very particularized.
That's because Linnae and Lisa are twins, so and because I had to kind of. That's a long story.
It's okay. This is a teaser. Teaser. Please enjoy the website. I'll link it in the chat.
It's actually fantastic. We have a lot of creative people here in Loreline. We all have like different media, different approaches and
You
stuff.
can
but we're
go.
all...
You can
Do
go
something.
to the bottom because there's some of the pieces that I'm actually fond of them.
I'm having to
This
relaunch
one-
restream chat. Oh, you can speak. I'm just restream is relaunching.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of creative people, I would also say that Bonnie in particular has been inspiring to me and has been teaching me about indie authorship, which is something I'd like to give a crack at soon.
Right.
I have a lot of original work I'd like to get published at some point.
Speaking of indie
Sure.
authorship, I'm still waiting on ACX to put out my audiobook.
Wait, pausing this. No, Foul.
Give me a name,
Pause.
because I'm ahead of time.
Alun. Because I wanted to point this one out for core.
Okay.
This one, yeah. So here in my characters, this lady here, her current name is Aelin Arlak of the Arlak, but her true name is Melina of Dublin. She is from the it's complicated, but she was born in the third astral era. Well, yes, third astral era, and she's daughter to Emmet Silk. So I thought that you may like that.
Well, I imagine I would. She's probably his daughter from the Allegan era, isn't she?
She's his little daughter, and I love her.
Aw, that's good.
One day I'll tell
You see,
you the story.
You get
Perhaps
a sense now. You get a sense now of what I have to work with. It's just very complicated and deep, which is appreciated, but also intimidating.
Yes, please.
It's certainly good practice for doing writing commissions, which is also something I've started doing.
Yeah, the order of Wayward Echoes is probably the facet that gave me the most trouble, because some of them have people from rejoin shards and stuff. So I
they're
had
very unconventional, I found.
look at that.
Well, anyway.
As you can see, we don't just go in on the lore. We also go in on Fanon and all sorts of other like stuff. Like we try to dig deep into the lore to the point where we can make our own.
Yes, I also thought of a VA for each of my characters. So yeah, I'm that crazy. Leave me alone.
I mean, that's one of the cool things about 14 is it's really conducive to all manner of creators.
And I think
you
that's
can-
very intentional.
And
Yeah,
the game
like,
itself
you
is
can write,
very.
you can compose music, you can RP, you can create characters and your own lore that actually fits into the game in a way that makes sense.
And the game is deep enough in the lore that you can really run with it in your own
Indeed.
direction, or stick closer to it and make something that's cohesive with it.
Well, I figure we should show you our official site. Bonnie just put in a ton of work, and it has a lot of our newest videos. Bonnie, do you want to talk on it?
I mean, ideally, something I'd like for us to do sometime in the future is also do written articles. And if we can get like a contact at Square to do written interviews, like if we do anything like that, that'll also be something that we post on our website. So bookmark it. It'll be helpful. But I've also started trying to keep up on posting the VODs once they're up on YouTube. So you can watch the VODs there, or on our YouTube playlist, or on our Twitch playlist, whatever floats your boat. Also, I'm always taking suggestions for zones and dungeons that I can take more screenshots in for our header, because the header up there changes every time you refresh the page.
It's very fancy. We love it.
We do.
Woo!
Bonnie is literally the backbone of our entire streaming
Bro.
process. She creates so much. Creates and manages so much.
I'm helping!
Understand.
Don't you forget it.
You put the produce and producer.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, when you guys recall how we started and where we at now. I mean, of course we aim to keep growing, but would you actually imagine we would be like this back then when we were pretty much like a chat of 7 people just
Oh yeah, when we were just a 7-person group DM.
500 messages a day.
Yeah.
Seeing as Yoshi P and them want to continue the game for at least another decade, I think we're going to have a very bright future.
Yes.
I agree.
I agree.
Endwalker will probably be the first of many like points of time where we'll start to like grow and
I mean,
have a fuckload
actually-
to talk about.
I'm kind of amused because I always recall for some reason how Fal came at the right moment to the group because Ayumi invited him, and it was, I don't know if it was a week afterwards that we decided to go with the podcast, and Fal kind of got into it. But it was the same for we had already accepted him as part of the crew.
It was
Yep.
sweet. It was
I
sweet.
think I just had like Bonnie pitch the idea to me. I was like, what? And then
I'm
now
trying to
I'm here.
remember who even originally suggested like us doing a podcast.
It was me.
Okay, yeah. Because, like, I mean, we talked so much in that chat. Like, my daily
Yes, we
ritual
did.
for months was I would wake up, I would roll over and turn on my phone, I would open up Discord,
like
roll my eyes
550
at the notifications, and then just start
550
reading.
notifications in there, and it was like insane. Like just the spiraling out of lore theories. I was like entranced by it.
I actually remember suggesting the idea because it was not long after the Endwalker first trailer, and I thought this would be a good moment. But because at the time I was working on another podcast, it was a Spanish speaking podcast, and I left that one to work on lore lines, but it's fine. Because they got another collaborator, so they're doing fine, and they were actually more focused on mechanics and the how the game plays than the lore, so it's fine. So I'm doing here what I really like, but I suggested that because I had some material and I had some previous experience, like around a year, and then we decided to go with that, and I actually suggested that, and I didn't expect to go like this, so yeah.
The most I remember time was when we were trying to figure out names, and I pitched lore lines as the idea because I'm a Black Mage main. So
Yep.
obviously, ley lines forever are always in my brain.
It's excellent.
It is.
So the
And
the
it
way
gives
that-
us so many easy titles for the spin-off.
It's
Exactly.
really remarkable, yeah. The way
Mm.
that week worked for me is I was in a place where I was looking for more community on this kind of subject, and I've known Ayumi for many years now. In fact, we were in the same free company for 3 or 4 years. So, but anyway, I was just talking with him one day, and he was talking in spades about you guys, and I'm like, can I come? I want.
Excellent.
Nani?
And introduced, allowed in, and it was perfect. Good fit. Very good fit.
I met all of these people, these wonderful people, through various Ascian fandom groups, and that was how we started talking about lore stuff as well, because of Meowth and Bonnie also being big into the Ascian enjoyment.
In our case, if you recall, Bonnie, it was pretty much everything kind of began with us both and Coburn fleeing like 2 or 3 discords because we couldn't lore craft in peace.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys sound like you really hate Heidelin, when we were actually being really neutral. And I'm just like, no, and this is called theory crafting, and then
Hey Alexa, what is bias?
yeah, massive bias.
Too much light of the crystal.
Although in
Yeah.
truth, I do have to catch you guys.
It's good though. We all listen to each other. We're not like, well, I'm high and mighty and know everything. We all feed into a team effort.
I mean, whenever one of us is wrong, then we eat crow and it's fine.
What do you mean it's fine? It's delicious. Man, I'm gonna eat so much crow come Endwalker, it's gonna be great.
All the crow. How many crows? Itachi levels of crow?
So many
my
crows
God.
it turns into a Corviknight.
Yeah, damn right. One of those creatures that the Alligans made with the funny-looking spiky
Oh
hat.
god.
Shoebill.
Oh, hey,
What's up,
soldier.
Soldier, someone say
What?
bias. Soldier has some experience with this, I think,
Yeah.
recently.
Bias is natural. It's normal. All human beings have bias. If you tell yourself, I am not biased, you're already wrong. The trick is recognizing your bias and having either you account for it or, even better, someone else account for your own bias, because they can see it from outside.
Mhm. For example, I readily admit that I'm hugely biased towards M itself.
And I'm that weirdo that likes Fandaniel.
I love
I'm
the
like-
Fandaniel love. I
I'm
like
like
to eat it
that when
too.
And I'd be like that when it comes to the 13th trilogy.
Or maybe to Nier, which is something Ayumi can relate to.
That too. I'm
Both
more
of us, actually. Both,
to be
Meowth and
fair. To be fair, I'm more Drakengard than Nier, but fair enough.
Meowth and I have both been kind of warped and distorted by the Drakengard series. And we
Seems-
highly recommend playing it.
It seems to have that effect on people.
Yeah, it messes with you a little bit.
I imagine Hades in the live stream is just like in a waterbed, like a perma, just chill state, like a pressure
water
tank.
bed?
He's in like
A
he's in
water
like
bed.
he's in a lazy river with like a martini and one of those like big inflatable,
He's got the little
Right.
pina colada with the umbrella.
and he's got his sunglasses on. He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't own sunglasses.
Kidding me?
He doesn't have to own sunglasses, he can just use creation magic.
Fair.
If he ever wants to look at the sun, he can just come and see look at us.
Wow.
You
But
know,
at
in
the same time, do expect him to complain whenever the Warrior of Light's going to summon him.
Hey,
hindsight, he really should have just put on some sunglasses and gotten a parasol and come with us to Amarang.
I have occasionally I think about like semi-humorous like holes in games like this where honestly we defeat him in 8-on-1 combat, but couldn't he have just creation magicked a couple skyscrapers? Just dropped them on
I mean,
because
Well, I mean, he
same.
kind of had the arena that we originally fight him in Dying Gasp is that kind of environment.
I'm
but
just
he
saying,
didn't-
like
But he didn't end up doing her inflorescence on us with dropping a
Yeah.
skyscraper on us.
yeah, donk.
It's very interesting. Maybe that was Yoko Taro commenting on that exact thing. Like he was like,
Maybe.
I would have preferred if Hades dropped a building on me.
I do think there was an element of I have to prove to myself, because Tempering is pushing me, that you are not worthy.
Sure.
So I can't cheat, or that it skews the test. I don't know for sure.
I don't know. I think part of him wanted us to win too.
Well, he certainly wanted us to be worthy enough and was disappointed when he assumed we weren't, and then we pull it out in this, like, skin of your teeth kind of battle.
I'm glad you can continue that sentence instead of just stopping at pull it out.
Bomb.
Bonk, bonk.
To be entirely fair, I mean, I lost my train. of thought.
Soldier says, I am
Rude.
brighter than the sun. Meh. And it's like 2021.
Forgive you, soldier, for you must simp. I know.
Yeah.
You're valid.
Soldier, forgive you.
High
No
five.
worries.
Soldier says, I'd let Vena temper me if you know what I'm saying.
Honestly, I have met a few people who want to get into doing stuff with Banal and Fortunal, for that matter.
Fortunal, absolutely. Venonet, nah.
I
mean,
mean,
Fortunal-
Fortunal's voice.
Fortunal, talk about someone who's just like looking to be pegged.
Surprised I'm not seeing more. I don't think I want to see it, but I'm actually surprised I'm not seeing more Xenos and Fandaniel fan art.
Okay,
There's a lot of fan
I've
art
been
that I'm
sparing
surprised
you
I'm
guys.
not seeing.
I've been sparing you guys, but I'll start sharing it if you want.
I've been giving
Absolutely.
I've been giving Neela so much fan art.
Yeah,
I've been
Coda's got my
finding-
back. I appreciate
Just like-
you, by the way.
Because, like, let's be honest, I love Hades to death, but I do have a soft spot for Fanny Boy as well. He's just a perfect element of chaos.
Fandaniel's that character that you really, really want to hate, but then you're just like, why do I like you?
My turn
Money,
today.
money, money!
Yeah, I was gonna say that's me back in 5.3. I'm like, why am I captivated by this
Absolute
person?
clown. Like, but that was kind of what we had with Emmett first when we saw him at the beginning too, was him being all grandiose with Varys. I was like, why do I like this clown?
For me, at least, it was really predictable for me to like Hades, but with Fandaniel, like, my reaction in 5.3, I was just like, why did you have to choose that body? I would like you so much more in, like, any
Exactly.
other body.
Because we're also talking about Asahi here, and it's like, I hate you with every fiber of my being.
You know, it's funny actually, because before 5.3 and the face reveal and the little attitude thing he had going on, if someone asked me, do you think Asahi's objectively cute? I could not have been objective. I would have been like, no, he's a hateful little stinker. And then I start looking at him and I'm like, okay, so the way he behaves really colors his body's behavior because, yes, Asahi is objectively cute. He just makes himself not cute by being a little shithead.
He's a little worm, and then Fandaniel
He's a little
turns
worm.
that worm.
Actually-
Exactly.
It's actually a really good thing I want to touch on with Final Fantasy's like animations. You can tell when Elidibus is in Ardbert's body, and you can tell when it's Ardbert, just on their body language. You can tell when it's Fandaniel versus Asahi, based on their body language. It's the animations and the way that they use the body language consciously and intentionally is just spot on. I think I talked before about how when Emmett Selk is thinking about his lost loved ones, he looks down and right, which is accessing emotional memory.
That's like very interesting about his character is that when he's being genuine, he tends towards the right, including when he smiles or scoffs.
Hmm?
Yeah,
But
they
then when
pay a
he's
lot
not
of
being
attention to
genuine-
detail with body language, and I really appreciate it because I feel
But
like a lot of games don't pay enough attention to body language.
But it was definitely, it was definitely this with Emmett Silk, and it was really noticeable. Right now, as of now, they're beginning to use more motion capture, but for Shadowbringers, they pretty much focused that on Emmett Silk, because if I recall, he hardly has any repeated or all of his animations are unique. I mean, he technically uses an Ellison model, but even his Ellison model is tweaked. So it's a degree of attention that, yes. I mean, I've gone into analyzing Emmett Silk's body language, not nearly as hard, but close enough with the body language in the 13th trilogy, which is another story.
You can learn a lot about the lore of the game from studying a character's body language, or in the case of, for example, Lise and Ida, like seeing the change in the body language between when she's acting out being her sister and when she's actually opening herself.
Prefer not to talk about Lise.
Oh, she's not so bad.
You know what?
She's a problem
So
with
Lisa-
Lisa. I just have a
uh,
problem with the way she was treated.
Exactly.
She's
gotten
certainly
better
not
over
an excellent
time.
character, but she's not an F- or anything.
She's gotten
not
better
this-
over time too.
I'm not dismissing that. It's just that I can't. If in real life I can't stand social justice warriors, in game I can't even stand them less. And yeah.
Okay, same, but female characters and female people. Like, I don't like, I think, really any of the female characters in 14 aside from Mo and Brita, RIP, and Ysael, RIP. And
Yeah, all the good ones.
Chola's growing on me, but
What, you don't like Matoya?
See?
mean,
for my strongest
because
feeling,
she's me. I'm kidding.
my strongest feeling on Matoya is I really, really, really want a scene where Matoya and Hades sit down for tea and just bitch about the twin.
Okay, so I wanted an interaction between those two, and then I wrote one, and I loved every moment of writing it, and I want to do it again. Because Matoya seems like the perfect foil to me. Have them talk about, for example, her quote-unquote crude approximation of an anti-tower. And be like, is this how you got into the live stream to research it? Really? This crude, weird-looking upside-down tower?
I just marvel at Charlian architecture and technology.
It makes me want to go there, and we're going to be going there.
I mean, like, just speaking truthfully here, and I know I've said this probably 2 or 3 times recently in voice, but the fact that Charlian is an anti-involvement nation says nothing about their insane technological prowess. Like, they are honestly far ahead of Garlemald in a lot of regards, a lot of ways. Like, not least of which the fact that they can actually use magic and are capable of technology regardless. Like, I know they don't have this deep thing in Magitech, but they owned Baltian Arsenal. Like, a dude made that. Like, Galif in the lore just basically was like, yeah, I'm gonna build this thing. Like, what's going on?
And not to mention the bunker they have now.
The bunker that we have in the new the trailer, right? Labyrinthos, the showcase. Yeah, like, what?
I'm still like tripped out over that music. Just listening to that music, I'm like,
God, it's so like weird
and horrifying.
It's so
they don't even
eerie.
started at the beginning. They're cutting off part of the piece, and I really want to know why.
Me too.
It was a really interesting opposition between Charlian and Garlemald, by one being overly active and the other one being overly passive. But in the end, they could both conquer the world if they wanted.
Yes, without a doubt.
In a way, conquer is a strong word, but Charlian definitely has knowledge, and they're not above leveraging it to, control or move people.
Oh, I mean, they're capable of it. That's what I mean.
The way I see it, Charlian controls at least not the entire world, just like Garlemald doesn't control the entire world, but controls controls a nice part of the world through spreading of knowledge. And I'm not saying that all of their knowledge is wrong, but most of it is biased. And they do spread that as truth, and so they have control over that people. Meanwhile, Garlemald exerts a different type of control, but they allow more freedom in the sense of belief and opinion. At least when Emperor Solus was there, then Varys came and we see what happened to Lex and Tails, But yes, I see that as different means of conquest, which conquest, I know for many people is a strong word, but it's actually conquering. It's basically coming into contact with a different opinion, and your opinion being the one that is your way is the one that how do you call it, prevails. Sorry, I'm kind of having kind of struggling today to make sense.
You're saying they won the global culture wars.
This game has a lot of like thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Like a lot of gray morality, ideas rubbing up against each other, determining what's right and wrong becomes a lot more difficult.
Soldier was very excited that the Namazir song came on. Welcome to my house. You're welcome anytime. Come on by.
But in the end, I mean, I think conquest is like this is kind of perhaps a controversial opinion, but conquest is not a word that to be feared like we do these days. It's been part of human culture ever since the times of our ancestors. It's something we carry in our blood, and I think we make a mistake because when people don't want to speak about and don't want to hear about these documentaries of the personal lives of well-known, let's say, evil person like Hitler and I actually do like checking those because that doesn't change that the guy was a jerkass and probably one of the biggest genocidal maniacs of history, but it allows to see that beyond that he was still human, and in deep down I could be the same. And I think people is scared of that side, that hey, you could be the same, but you don't have to be ashamed of that. You just be aware of that and work to not be like that. But if you ignore that, then you become a target. That's the problem with wars. When people are or violence, when people are. I get why when you're oversensitive to violence, but it's part of human nature as well. It's just that we have to know that we have that, and then we can control that. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I think
I do agree.
You are.
I think that it's a scary thing to think that I too could become a monster. But it's an important thing to remember, because if you deny it and say, no, I'm perfect, I'm wonderful, you are going to hurt people because you are blind to your own flaws.
And that's what the lesson of Vothry as a character, for example, is.
Exactly.
Is that if you don't accept that you too could become that, you probably will become that.
Yes, so I really enjoy in that regard. I really enjoy 14 because it's like, listen, perhaps starting a war is not the ideal thing to do from our point of view, because we have to consider that this is our current morality, that war is hell. But you have to consider too that not so long ago, and we are speaking like World War One. For the people that were going into World War One, they actually were, not excited, but they were going into war like with this mentality that we're going to do this for our people and for our country. It was an honor. Of course, then came World War II. And our current morality mostly stems from the result of which was pretty much an ideological war. So yeah, it's kind of this gives gives a lot of room to discuss our current society and how it came to be, and how we are kind of still dragging the effects of World War II. But that's a discussion for another time. And I'm no expert. I know history, but I guess our resident expert in politics and politics and or in history, I trust Faust's judgment. So
I've been heavily educated on all these subjects too, but I wouldn't want to necessarily go all out on them when we're talking about 14, except to say that 14 has definitely done its history as well, not just in lore terms, but in trying to keep in mind the real world context as well. It hasn't always succeeded at that, particularly in Stormblood, but it has managed to keep a pretty good perspective.
Stormblood, while I have to say that 4.0 is difficult for me to bear with, because it's painting Garlemald pretty much like really bad guys. But then you have to remind yourself who is in charge of Alamigo, who is in charge of Doma at the time. Not really stable, not really mentally stable people, you know. So, and then come the patches, and I really do enjoy the patches of Stormblood, because these nations, Alamigo and Doma both, that have been painted by Liz leaned more into this than Ian did. That had been painted as really great nations that were subjugated by the Empire, and then we realized in the patches that these nations were pretty much like Bodja, like they weren't perfect at all. And when the Garlean Empire came, of course they came in guns blazing, so to speak, but they also brought a different set of morals, which in a sense, like it's like we see with the resistance. Well, spoiler alert, I guess, but it's that we see with the resistance. In the end, Salian ends up taking the morals of the Fourth Legion of the Empire. But that's practicality too, because if you see that just because it's been your enemy, but you see that their system works better, then why not imitate them? You know.
So
the only thing you should caution on that is that if you imitate them too much and become like them, you end up having the same problems as them too.
It's a matter. Yeah, it's like art. When we are encouraged in fine arts to take references, and we are encouraged to kind of walk the classroom and see what the others are doing, just to try to imitate what you like from your classmates. But they're not telling you to imitate them. They're telling you to take clues from them, to incorporate in your own style. Of course, this takes years to understand, but it's a process. So yeah, I get. I mean, perhaps it's a weird analogy, but
I think it's fitting. Well, anyway, we are coming up on 2 hours. Got about 3 minutes left. Any final thoughts? Any more things from the audience? Anyone who hasn't spoken a lot? Kind of final words, sum up, and we'll close it out in a little bit.
I got nothing.
How about Ayumi? We haven't heard Ayumi in a little bit.
I'm working on something in the background, so nothing.
Neela? Well, I guess not.
Dead. Absolutely dead. Let me pop back into the thing.
Foul, why is there a Garlean emblem back on the back of these chairs?
No choice.
Yes, that's
I
what
was
you're gonna go
secretly a
with.
Garlean.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna go with, huh?
I never noticed these had that on them.
I mean, you're always asking us to have Shadow Meowth sing the Garlean anthem, right?
you
Wonder why that might be.
are you going to make me do that?
No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
I wonder if Amarant had an anthem.
I mean, I could
I do think
give
so.
you the first verse, but
I imagine the Spire is something like it.
That's not a bad idea.
Well, everyone, thank you for coming to Lorelines episode 23 Q&A with the crew.
Yes.
It's an absolute pleasure as usual. I'm so excited that we got on LunarCon, and if you haven't seen the VOD, please check out either our YouTube or our Twitch. You're obviously on one of those sites right now if you're listening to this. It was a nice, clean session. We got a pretty awesome PowerPoint and a nice platform with almost 100 viewers. So it's really, 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 really awesome milestone for us. Like I said last week, I'll be absent the next 2 weeks. Got a family trip, and then we're also going to an anime convention, wife and I. So we will have alternative hosting, which we had earlier today, actually, at LunarCon. So I guess that's everything. And unless anyone had anything else to say...
That
Have
is
fun.
it.
Have fun at your
I'm-
anime convention.
Yes.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
Hey, you're the one who said it, not me.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, watch all our videos, buy Bonnie's books, commission Shadowmouth, and read my fanfic.
There we go.
And also join our Discord for more chit chat.
And I don't know if we have decided on the topic next week, but if not, then
We can all vote on
keep you
it.
updated.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a
Also, in terms of the
suggestion channel in
Discord-
our Discord if you want to submit topic
Yeah.
proposals.
Exactly.
And you can always hit us on Twitter as well.
Yes.
We're also
Yep.
always down to talk crazy theories.
Yep.
No matter how tinfoil they may be.
More tinfoil, the better.
That's right.
All right, everybody, we're closing out. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you then.
See ya.
Thanks for coming out, everyone.